We are live. It is relatively damp, is probably the best word for it. Relatively damp here on the top deck of Costa Toscana. Now, I'm just going to chat a little bit while anyone else who's planning to join comes and joins us. But yeah, if you're already here, then hello. Lovely to see that some of you have already joined. Now, today I am coming to you from Marseille in France, and this week we haven't been gifted with the weather this week at all, which is probably an understatement of the year. It's, currently I think it's about 15, 16 degrees today, and it's raining. So you can see I'm currently wearing my jumper, I've got jeans on, and yeah, I'm hoping that the rain stays off for the next however long we stay on live to chat. This is one which it might get completely rained off, who knows. If someone could do me a massive favour, I can see more of you joining now, that is amazing. If someone could do me a massive favour and let me know if you can hear me, that would be brilliant. And in the interim, I might as well just continue chatting. So we've spent the last week doing, I think this is probably the Western Med itinerary. You can. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So I think this is a Western Med itinerary we've been doing for the last week, where I got on in Barcelona last Sunday, which Heather, Heather, you've made it. Great. Perfect. Hello. Thanks, Kelly. So I got on in Barcelona on a Sunday, which we'll get to that in a minute, because honestly, the degree of chaos on a Sunday, it was high, and my nerves were nearly shot for the first time. Yeah, for the first time during this whole cruising situation. So yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. So we left Barcelona on Sunday. We then spent Monday all day at sea. Tuesday we spent in Sardinia, which I'd never been to Sardinia before. So yeah, it was good to get somewhere a little bit new. Now, after Sardinia, we headed over to, I'm going to have to count my ports on my fingers here. We headed to Naples. We then headed to Civitavecchia, which is the port, local to Rome. I think it's like an hour away on the train. After Rome, we then headed up to Genoa, which is where we were yesterday. And then we left Genoa and headed to here, which is sunny Marseille. So yeah, as I say, hopefully we're not going to get completely rained off. Now, in port with us at the moment, you can see that we've got this guy poking in here, which is MSC World Europa, which is definitely very strange. It's very strange actually to see that ship here, because that was obviously ship number 1 for me this year. We've then got another ship which is sitting just over there, which I will show you. Now, when I left here this morning, I was off early because I had stuff that I really wanted to do, and I wanted to try and get a good Wi-Fi connection to get YouTube videos and stuff done. So yeah, I was off here at like 9 o'clock this morning, I think it was, and the ship over there wasn't here when I went out, but it was here when I got back. So I actually was really surprised to see this one. So this is Costa, in fact I can probably just push that button and that will spin around. This is Costa Diadema over here, which if you've been following over the last couple of weeks, then you will remember that for me was ship number 2 for me. So we're missing Symphony of the Seas, and then we would have the entire fleet, the entire fleet in port today. Now, we do have one more ship, which if I can stand up from this table and I can show you sort of behind World Europa, we've also got MSC Orchestra sitting down there, and then directly behind us we've got a cruise ship that I've actually never come across the ship before, and I've also never come across the line before. So the one that's behind is from a company called Costa Cruises, I think it is, or Costa Cruises. Now, I've done a little bit of Googling and it looks like a really nice ship. It's definitely a smaller ship, so it's nothing like the scale of this. So yeah, I'll be very intrigued actually to do a little bit more research on that. That's what I'm loving. See, now that we're in the Med, and we've got like the American ships have now joined us because they've all done their transatlantics, and ships, even we've seen some ships from Asia that have made their way across, and obviously the Med season is now just beginning to kick off. So for the next couple of weeks / months, it's going to be brilliant to see so many ships all around here. It's not going to be quite so brilliant to see how busy some of the cities are as a result of the ships. I mean, if you look today, Costa Diadema probably holds about 4,000, World Europa probably holds, what, 5.5, so we're up to 9. You can get another 5 on here, so we're now up to 14. 14. I'm showcasing my terrible maths there. And then you've got orchestra, whatever that is, and then the one behind. So there's a lot of people that are getting dumped on these cities. And if you've been to like Barcelona, which, I mean, it's kind of designed for cruise ships to go in there, but to dump 10, 12, 15,000 people anywhere is a lot, but into like an old city, yeah, is a little bit frightening at times. But hey, look, I have seen some comments coming in. What I should say is that if anyone's got any questions, or if anyone has got any stories or anything you would like to share, then pop it in as a comment and we'll work our way through as we go. So Mark, hello, thank you very much for joining again. Where are you today? So I think I've probably bored you to death with that one. I'll show you a little bit more of the ship in a wee minute actually, if my signal will hold out. Right, we've then got that we can hear you, which is brilliant. Oh, Gary, you're here. Hello from the North Sea, heading to the Norwegian fjords. So that would suggest that you are on. That would suggest that you're on Wi-Fi, and in which case that is great if it's letting you properly stream videos. So anyone that doesn't follow Gary on the Tips for Travellers account down in the comments, so he has just boarded yesterday, I believe. Yesterday, MSC Virtuosa down in Southampton. And I actually didn't know, Gary, what route you were doing there. So it sounds like it's like the 7 nights around the Norwegian fjords. But he is cruising in a very different way to the way that I would usually cruise. So my experience on Virtuosa has been, I managed to get upgraded from an inside to a balcony on my second cruise. The first cruise, I was in a solo inside cabin, which is really, really, really small. And on my last cruise, I was on New Year, that was on Virtuosa actually, I was back in an inside cabin. So Gary's actually cruising in Yacht Club, so head over to his channel and you will see a different type of cruise to what I can offer you. So yeah, it looks good. The only thing, Gary, I cannot believe that they didn't have cream. No cream, and I don't think any jam for your scones yesterday, which blew my mind considering you're actually in the Yacht Club area. Sarah, my mum and I are going to Marseille next year. Ah, cool. So Sarah, do you have plans when you're here? Because Marseille is, to be honest, it's one of my favourite little cities to dock on a cruise. Now, I think there's some cities out there that do get a really bad rep, and 2 examples of that are Marseille and Naples. And actually, they're probably 2 of my favourite cities that you can visit on a cruise. So Naples, I mean, anybody that knows me will know why I like Naples, and it's because pizza was invented there. So you can generally go to Naples, anywhere you go, you can get an amazing pizza, but there's one place in particular that I've done a vlog on it, so it'll be coming in a few weeks' time, but yeah, the pizza in this one place was absolutely brilliant. Now, Marseille is also one where I think not too many people actually know what's here, but once you do a little bit of exploring, like, you need to check out the old port, you need to go and check out the cathedral, you need to go and check like the coastline just out of the old port, and it's really, really beautiful when you start heading down there. So if you are visiting here, I don't know if you're coming on holiday or if you're coming on a cruise, Sarah, I'm just assuming a cruise, but promise me that you're not going to just stay on the ship, because quite a lot of people, when they come to this port, they can actually kind of just chill on here for the day. So please get off. Just at the same time, keep an eye on your phone, keep it in your pocket, and yeah, pickpockets can have a good bit of fun. Julie, hello, Julie, you actually messaged me on Instagram. I've got your question in front of me that I need to answer at some point. So Julie, you figured out how to comment on here, which is great news because I didn't think you could earlier. There's a horn going off somewhere, so one of these guys might be about to leave. Maybe that might give you some viewing actually, so I'll take you around and show you who's getting ready to leave shortly. Tina, pleased to see you made it back from your run up the hill. Well, do you know, I probably should admit, so I didn't actually run up that hill yesterday, so I recorded that on like a time lapse, so that it looked as though I was running up the hill, but I can absolutely confirm no part of me made that run. So for anyone that isn't over on Instagram with me, yes, there you go. So that's MSC Orchestra leaving. Now, we might actually be about to have a little bit of horn chaos here because World Europa's also docked with us, but I'll take you around just when she goes a wee bit further up and show you her leaving. But what was I saying there? Yes, Genoa. So if you've ever docked in Genoa, it's one of my favourite ports to dock into, just because the city is so vast and it's all built on a hill and it just looks really, really Italian, if that could be a descriptive. Now, I've never thought to go up the hill, and yesterday someone said, it was literally someone in the street, like, I should probably stop taking advice off just random people that I meet in the street, but they said, are you looking for a good view? Or if you go up there, then it'll be really good. So, come to think of it, the advice was it will be really good, but she didn't confirm if she had actually been or not. But anyway, off I went. So I went up the hill, and honestly, the views up there were, like, stunning. So I'll need to post some more on Instagram, actually, but I was really, really impressed with that yesterday. Now, let me just grab one more before I take you a wee walk round and show you orchestra, and then come back. I always apologise because this finger seems to be in your screen half the time, because I do my lives when I'm on the ship on my phone, which is mounted on here. So in case you think I'm pointing at you, I'm not. I'm just trying to see what you're saying. P&B, I have to do a cruise to Italy. Do you know what? You absolutely do. I would recommend it. It's been wet for us this week, but the general weather in Italy right now is, it's like disastrous levels of rain. So yeah, I think if you go a little bit more inland, it's very, very wet. Usually this time of year you get gorgeous weather, but yeah, just unfortunate circumstances at the moment. Afternoon tea did today. Okay, thank goodness. Gary, while you're here, how is your Wi-Fi on that ship? Because I haven't... Okay, so I think one thing is apparent, and that is it. And that's just going to keep on going, but I'm just going to need to keep talking over it. So, the captain on World Europa, when I was on there, honestly, that should be the last time. Okay, so the captain on World Europa seemed to absolutely love honking that horn when we were in the Middle East. I've honestly never seen anything or never heard anything like it, where some ports it would just be held on constantly. So yeah, what I was asking there, Gary, is how's your Wi-Fi on Virtuosa? Because it seems quite good if it's letting you stream, but the Wi-Fi on here, it's not Starlink on here, so I have seen it a lot slower than what it was last week on Symphony. But yeah, how is this actually working for you? It seems to be all right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stand up, and it seems to be not raining. So let me take you a wee walk round just as orchestra's leaving to let you see. I'll just leave my power bank here, and then hopefully my chair will be kept free for us when we come back, but who knows. So right, we're now on the move, so please pray/cross everything that my signal isn't going to die. But yeah, we're now heading up past like the adults only bit, which is mega quiet because the weather isn't the best today. And if I flip the camera round, I will be able to show you. So you've got orchestra heading out there. I actually don't know where these ships are going. I actually probably should do a bit of research on that. But you've got orchestra leaving there. You've then got Diadema docked in beside us. And then you've got World Europa docked in behind there. So I can see that these other guys have still got their ropes down. So one would hope that we're not going to get repeatedly blasted with horns from now. But yeah, look, while we're on the move, let me show you this front part of the ship because it's probably my favourite space on here. So if I turn round, then you can see that you've got loads and loads of deck space here. But the thing that I absolutely love, you've got these hammocks dotted around. So you've got one here, and then you've got one. I'm really pushing it with this signal, but God loves a try, right? So if I go on the other side, you can see that you've got two hammocks over there. Now, this whole area, it looks pretty closed in, but it's that sort of netting, so the sun can get through here. And it's also open at these intervals here. So this is a really, really nice space if you want to come and yeah, chill out away from the crowds. Because one thing that I have found on here is that it's about to reconnect because I can still see the minutes climbing. But that's probably teaching me to just sit down here and not think it's the best idea to be mobile walking around the whole ship. So, right, we are back. So, let me have a wee look. Let me have a wee look and see what we are saying. So, what I'd also quite like to know while we're on here is what's your next cruises? Because I am very intrigued to see if we're all going to overlap at some point. So, oh my goodness, there's quite a few comments here actually. So, JP, question, after all the madness of last week, do you keep expecting to see other members of the group around the ship this week? Did you enjoy it, or was the responsibility too stressful? JP, why am I not immediately guessing what that name would equate to? Oh my goodness, JP, if you could reveal yourself, that would be that would be great. But right, imagine that what you're referring to is the hosted cruise on Symphony and the madness of last week. Now, do you know what? That last week, I had an absolute ball. So for anyone that doesn't know, I was on Symphony of the Seas supporting a travel agent in the UK who specialises in like solo deals. So myself and Pete, who's also on here as Cruise and Tips Pete, we were joint hosting the cruise where basically we were kind of helping to support a group of solo travellers. Now, the weird thing on this ship is that I'm back to not knowing anyone again. And actually, I think the first few days of this cruise, and I'm not asking you to get the world's smallest violin out, but the first few days of this cruise, I actually felt a wee bit lonely on here. Just because last week we went from like everybody being with each other all the time, and you'd walk out to get a coffee and you'd bump into someone. So yeah, I keep expecting to see some of the guys from last week on here, like when I walk into breakfast, and then I have to remind myself that actually it's a different ship. Now, the thing that's probably making that worse is that last week was the first time that I went from ship to ship in the same day. So I literally got off Symphony, dragged my bag up the dock, and then got on Toscana. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind of a couple of days, but like I'll get through some more questions and then I'll come back to the chaos of last week. Now, one question that got asked before we came on here actually was looking at classes of ship, because quite a few people, I think, have heard me mention, it's Janet, right? Right, okay, excellent, hello. So, yeah, I just, for whatever reason, back. I can see that little loading logo. So I'm back. I'm now actually in the rain, so we're going to have to find a better enclosed seat for me. But yeah, basically what I was going to say was one of the questions that's come in has been about ship classes, because on quite a few of my videos now, I have spoken about like Oasis class ships or Meraviglia class ships, and quite a few people, when they hear the word class, they quite often assume that that must be to do with like the quality of the ship or the build of the ship. And yeah, I think some people get concerned that they're going to book the wrong, quote, class and then end up getting a bad experience. Now, to clear that up, class of a cruise ship doesn't relate at all to economy, business class, first class, or whatever. The class of a ship generally is, I guess, allocated by, well, it's set by the cruise line, and then the builder or the shipyard then builds a class of ship. So if we use an example, right, that'll be far easier than me trying to explain it. So World Europa, which is docked behind us at the moment, is what you call a world class ship, hence World Europa. Now, next up, so I think MSC have got 4 of them on order at the moment, and the next ship, which is called MSC World America, will launch next year. And then there's the 2 others, which they haven't revealed the name yet, but I would imagine it'll be World something, and they will launch, well, I think one's planned for 2025 and one's planned for 2026. So, yeah, that's World Europa. The other ship behind at the moment, which is Costa Diadema, is, I believe, a Dream class ship. So, Dream class is an interesting one because it's split across a couple of different cruise lines. So, the class of a ship doesn't necessarily mean that it's only one cruise line that has that. So Costa are also alongside Carnival, so what you will find is that the Dream class ships, you've got, I think it's 3 Carnival ships plus Costa Diadema. So if you Google Costa Diadema and then Google like Carnival Dream, I think is one of the other ones, you'll see that actually it's a pretty similar ship. What Diadema has that some of the others don't is that promenade that goes all the way around one of the lower decks. So yeah, hopefully that explains what a ship class is. To give you the example of the ship I'm on right now, I'm now out of the rain. You can see here that I'm being sheltered by this walkway. So yeah, I'm hoping that this will now be us in a good place if I set you guys here. Perfect. Hello, we are back. So yeah, just continue to cross everything for me, that'd be great. So yeah, the ship that I'm on at the moment is the same ship class as the likes of P&O Arvia or P&O Iona. So what will be really, really interesting, I was hoping to get on Iona to go to Norway in July, but unfortunately, just circumstances have meant that I can't squeeze that in this year. So yeah, when I put the ship tour from Costa Toscana online, I am going to be so intrigued to see if you guys think this is really similar to P&O Iona or if you think it's different. Certainly when you Google them both, and if you put Iona on the screen and Toscana on the screen, they look really, really similar. To the point where, yeah, if you removed like the colours and stuff, you actually could probably get pretty confused with which is which. But hey, look, apologies for the chaos of moving there. I've lost our comments, so let me see. Sarah, you're coming on a cruise, that's cool. Sarah, on Saturday we board Sky Princess, we'll miss the traditional. So yeah, if by prom you mean prom deck, yes, Costa's got a cracking promenade deck down there. So it's down on deck 8, I think it is. And it's probably one of my favourite prom decks. So my balcony actually looks down onto it. So I've got a balcony on deck 10 and it looks down onto the prom deck. So it's just far enough away that you can people watch and you can get a good look, but you've got a completely uninterrupted sea view. So yeah, the proms, I absolutely love them. And it's one of my biggest criticisms about the Oasis class ships from Royal Caribbean. So on Symphony last week, I've never felt further away from the ocean on a cruise ship before, and I felt really uncomfortable with it because if you're in the main dining room, for example, you know you're on a cruise because you can look out and see the sea. Whereas if you're in any of the internal areas, including that big boardwalk at the back, you have absolutely no idea where you are because the whole ship is designed with a very inward feel. So to me, I mean, as much as it's a beautiful ship and it's probably one of the most impressive ships that I've ever been on, it is definitely one that it's designed to make people feel like they're not on a ship. And even so many people say all during your cruise on Symphony, oh, do you know what's amazing? It doesn't even feel like we're on a ship. And that to me, I mean, even I was saying it, and at one point I'm like, right, okay, well, that's probably, or to me anyway, that's a problem that I'm saying I'm on this cruise, but I feel like I'm not on a ship because I like to go on a cruise to feel like I'm on a ship. But interestingly, I spoke to my friend Ross from back home, and he was saying that his wife doesn't like the darkness when you look out from a cruise. So at night, so obviously that type of ship is actually really, really good for them because she doesn't necessarily feel as though she's floating in the middle of nowhere, yet she can still enjoy all the facilities of the ship. So it's definitely a bit of a, like, some people love that, some people hate that, but yeah, on this ship, to answer your question in a very long-winded way, yes, there's a prom deck on here. It's really, really nice, and I feel really, really connected with the ocean on here, which is good. Gary, what's your strategy on eating and dining on this long series of trips in 23? Okay. Good question, and I hope you're not asking that because of what I was eating last week. So I treated last week as, let's say, a treat week where I didn't have any alcohol, but I definitely ate things that I wouldn't normally eat in quantities that I wouldn't normally eat. So, for example, on that ship, Johnny Rocket's milkshakes are included, as is soft serve ice cream. So, if any of you guys are on this live who were on that ship with me last week, you will know that, my peak day was bad. My peak day was like 4 soft serve ice creams plus 2 Johnny Rocket's milkshakes, which are like full of chocolate, covered in sauce, whipped cream on top. So yeah, I should probably answer your question with what's the dining strategy with it's a bit chaotic right now. But, that's what I'm finding. That's actually one of the challenges that I've had coming onto this kind of long-term cruising situation. So obviously if I eat in the dining room every single night, and with Costa, it's normal on here as an Italian cruise line for you to have 4 courses with your dinner. So you have like a starter, a first course, a main course, and then a dessert. The reality is for me, if I eat 4 courses every single night, even just on my Costa Cruises, which is 2 weeks on Diadema, a week on here, a week on Smeralda, and then a week back on here, like for me to have 4 courses every night for 5 whole weeks, like, yeah, I will be piling on the weight. So I'm actively trying to, like, this week's a really good example. So I've only eaten in the dining room a couple of times this week. I think I've only had 2 meals in the main dining room, and the rest of the time I'll actually go and kind of feed myself at the buffet, or I'll do a speciality night, because then I can kind of control a little bit more what I'm having. So one of the benefits to me of going to the buffet, and if my parents are on here, they won't believe that I'm saying this, but one of the benefits to me eating in the buffet is that I can actually go and have salad, and I can just have a bowl of lettuce, and I can get fruit, just because, yeah, if I wasn't doing that, then it could get pretty problematic pretty quickly. Now, the other thing that I didn't realise is that a lot of the cruise lines are really, really good where if you want to order something that isn't necessarily on the menu, so for example, you want to get, so I love blueberries in the morning, and it's pretty rare that you'd find blueberries on the menu in the buffet or the main dining room, but 9 times out of 10 you'll find like a blueberry jam or a blueberry compote or something is on the menu. So they will usually have blueberries that they can go and get for you. So I've been finding, if I say to them, look, can I have like a little thing of blueberries or some raspberries or blackberries, and then I'll take them back to my room and keep them in the fridge, it means that during the day when I'm snacking way healthier than what I would be on a normal cruise, because sometimes I guess usually it's just a 1 week holiday, so that's fine. But I think when you are cruising for these longer periods of time, you do have to, I guess, just be careful of what you're eating. Now, the other way to just bolt onto that is that you have to find out where the gym is for more than just taking a picture. I famously, for my first 10 cruises maybe, found out where the gym was because I wanted to include it in a ship tour, and then I'd go in, take one panoramic photo or one panoramic video, and then get back out. I'd never be in it. But yeah, I have found the gym on every single one of my ships so far, and I've actually got quite addicted to one of the machines in there, which is great. I'm so thankful that this has happened. It's like a stepper machine where it counts how many flights of stairs you climb. It's so addictive, so I like to go in there and try and beat what I did a couple of days before. So the most that I've done in one session is 72 flights of stairs, which, I mean, if anyone's going to tell me that that's not good for me, I just won't listen. So I'm going to actually go down tonight before dinner and try and do 73. But yeah, by the end of it, I am going to be regretting every single ice cream that I had last week. So yeah, hopefully that kind of answers your question about like diet when you're long-term cruising. Now, I will actually put a YouTube video together that will go through like more of the detail of that, because loads and loads of questions are coming in about how this kind of long-term cruise life is actually working. Richard, hi Fraser, hello. I probably should know the answer, but I've done a vlog on Marseille. Oh, have I done a vlog on Marseille? We're disembarking there again later in the year, but I have until the evening to get to the airport. Ah, yes, so, yes, I have. Do you know what? If you should know the answer to that, then I definitely should know the answer to that, shouldn't I? Now, I have done it. What I'm stumbling on is I don't think it's gone live yet, Richard. So, I think I've vlogged Marseille once, and that was on World Europa. So, what I do know is that the World Europa vlog that I've just finished editing today, which will go live next week, is our day at sea as we approach the Suez Canal. So what that means is in the start of the following week, you'll have the transit of the canal, and then the final week will be kind of jumping around the cities in Europe. So on World Europa, I did a vlog from Genoa, I think it was just Genoa, Naples and Marseille. So yeah, in about 2 weeks' time, you'll get my first Marseille vlog going live. So yeah, if you've got all day to kill here before you go to the airport, absolutely no problem at all. My recommendation would be try and Google somewhere that you can ditch your bags, and then, yeah, just go wandering. There's loads and loads and loads to look at in Marseille. Now, I'm also coming back on this ship in 3 weeks' time, and my friend Laura and I will be vlogging. I think we're going to be vlogging every day. We still have to agree what days we're going to do, but we probably will do a vlog in Marseille. So that'll give you the perspective of the first time I visited, and then also having been here a couple of times now, what did we do on a day here together? So yeah, there'll be a couple of vlogs coming, Richard, so sit tight. You're probably thinking I only want one, and you're now planning to throw out multiple. But hey, so to answer your question, yes. Tina, could have been when doing your live app. If you're referring to the hill, absolutely not. How do you deal with wonky Wi-Fi as a content creator in this cruise? So, I mean, honestly, what just happened a few minutes ago in this live shows you the fun of internet on here. So, I mean, I've found Wi-Fi more difficult to come across than what I expected it to be. Now, I'm actually a bit worried about the later half of the year, because in August I fly to the USA, and then I'll be doing like the Pacific, the Caribbean, Canada. I'll kind of be jumping all over. So I'm not convinced that, I suppose in Miami I should be able to find good Wi-Fi. I should plug now, if anyone knows anywhere in Wi-Fi, anywhere in Miami with good Wi-Fi, please plug it and let me know so that I can take note. But in terms of how I'm dealing with that, so today is the best example where I knew that the hotel that I stayed in here in Marseille had, oh my goodness, it had amazing Wi-Fi. So it took me, I uploaded my Symphony ship tour today, and that runs for about 1 hour, and it took, I think it took about 32 minutes to upload all of that to YouTube, and then it's obviously taken, like another hour or so to process, but from a speed point of view, that is a complete miracle. So I actually tried to upload in Naples, and it just wasn't worth it at all. So I then just banked episodes until I knew I was going to be in Marseille. So what I'll now do is I've got an overnight in Barcelona on Sunday before getting on my next ship on Monday. So basically, as soon as I get there, I'll go to my hotel, check the Wi-Fi speed. My dad showed me this Wi-Fi test actually, where I think you just Google Wi-Fi speed test and it comes up and tells you if it's quick enough to stream on. So yeah, I basically will just go to my hotel, check if it's good enough, and if it is, click the button and get everything kind of lined up for the next couple of weeks. Because yeah, you never know when you're going to be next in Wi-Fi. And as I say, I didn't expect to have that problem, because generally in the UK, if we find Wi-Fi, it's usually pretty fast, or any experience I've had, it's usually pretty fast. I keep hitting this screen, and when the comments load, they disappear again. So apologies if the camera is flying around for you a little bit at the moment. Let me hit it again, and hopefully they'll come back up. Okay, they appear to have disappeared. So, show chat, are we coming back? If someone could do me a massive favour and post a comment, because for whatever reason, my screen is no longer playing ball, and everybody's comments have just totally disappeared. So it turns out it's not only Wi-Fi that I'm dealing with, it's also the rigmarole of just general tech being the way it usually is. So hopefully in the next couple of seconds, your messages, guys, will begin to come back. Otherwise, we are going to have a lot of fun with me trying to guess what people are saying. So let me just try and click again. There are actually like a really good number of you guys on here, so this is very annoying timing that suddenly I've lost everyone's chats. I hope I'm not going to have to move again. As I say, I'm just chattering, hoping that something is going to pull through. Okay. I think we've now lost the chat, which has never happened to me on a live before. So yeah, there's a first for everything. But hey, look, let's just continue to chat and let's get through it together. Now, I saw a comment from Gary that came through there to say that Wi-Fi in Miami isn't. Oh, you're back. You're back. We see the comment. It's great. I see the comments now as well. So yeah, Wi-Fi in Miami isn't overly easy to find. It's not the best of news for me, if I'm perfectly honest, Gary, but yeah, Wi-Fi seems okay. So this live is a good test. Right, whenever you go live tomorrow, I'll come on and let you know what the quality of that is like, because I'm very intrigued about streaming from there. Ah, Lucy's mum, you're here. Hello, lovely to see you and welcome to the live. Ken, it might be raining there, but it's beautiful. Oh, do you know what? I knew there was going to be one of you. I'm just off the phone to someone in the Midlands who, I mean, the sun is splitting the skies there. I spoke to my parents earlier, who are kind of, about 20 minutes out of Glasgow, and it seems grey there, but I mean, it's not raining. But thank you, Ken. Welcome to the live. Lovely to see you. Great. No, all joking aside, lovely to see you. But yeah, south of France today is not playing ball weather-wise, so yeah, not ideal. Julie, you're going on Virtuosa 4 weeks today. October enchantment from Athens, that'll be good. I'm cruising on Rhapsody, which is Royal Caribbean Rhapsody of the Seas. I'm cruising on that ship out of Haifa in Israel, and we'll be visiting Athens, which I've heard it's a great cruise port. So yeah, that should hopefully be good. Tina, you're on Virtuosa in September, then the following September, Britannia. They'll both be great. Britannia, I actually thought Britannia was a really good ship actually. So, Princess, Eurybia, oh, you're on Eurybia. Okay, there's quite a few of you guys that follow this channel that are on Eurybia actually. I tried to book that for, I think it's July that it's going out of like Kiel in Germany, but again, timings just didn't work because I need to get on a flight to LA the first week of August. So again, didn't have time to squeeze that in. So Julie, you were on Iona in March. I think I remember you telling me you were on Iona in March actually. Britannia last December, gone cruise crazy since last May. Hey, listen, Julie, coming from the guy who's currently sitting on the top deck of cruise ship number 4 of goodness knows how many, I can completely understand someone that's gone a bit cruise ship crazy. McKenna, good to see you. I replied to a comment from you the other day actually about your first cruise, so hopefully you've seen that. I think you were talking about Alaska, or no, you were talking about Norway. I'm a buffet woman for the entire cruise on any ships. So you are, because I missed you on Arcadia, remember? Not just because I can't take Lucy to the main dining room with me, but I'm a solo human. Yeah, do you know what? I completely get that. I've still not met Lucy actually, so that's going to have to be a future goal of mine. Richard, we'll look forward to them. The cruise isn't until October. Well, yeah, hopefully my World Europa content will have finished by October, but it is fairly dragging out, honestly. So 2 more weeks of that, and that'll be done, and we'll be ready to move on to Diadema. So yeah, you'll get Marseille coming your way really quickly. So yeah, I think we've nearly caught up now. Cleveland, okay, I'm on Azura in July in the Eastern Med from Malta. That'll be good. My big sister sent me a picture yesterday from Malta, and it looks like a great port. There's quite a lot local to it. We must be quite near the airport because there is a plane pretty close here. Have you been to... The fact that I can't pronounce that confirms that I've never been. I have a free morning there before going to Athens in the afternoon. Unfortunately not, but yeah, hopefully if you try and YouTube search something like cruise vlog with that place, and hopefully it'll come up for you. Regina, hello, lovely to see your name pop up. Welcome to the live. Ken, oh, chat's still working fine. Okay, that is good. I think we're getting to the point now where I have regained. You can probably tell I'm terrified to take my finger off this screen now. So I agree though, I found most around the port. Passwords, forget. Yeah, do you know, the thing I'm really struggling with Miami is that all the hotels are so expensive. Like, they are so pricey to the point where it's been cheaper for me to jump on a Virgin cruise. It's been cheaper for me to jump on a Virgin cruise rather than just stay in Miami, which is mad. I guess it's the same with this week though. It was cheaper for me to jump on Costa Toscana for a week than what it was for me to stay in Barcelona, which is a bit mad. Sun Princess, do you know, I don't have any Princess planned this year. Sun, I'm not sure when Sun launches. I should know that, but off the top of my head, I don't. So right now, no, I'm not booked on Sun, but yeah, I would like to. So if my travel agent is watching this, she will be delighted. So I always say I'll come off alive to a message from her. I know that she's on a cruise to Alaska right now, so Jan, if you're watching this on playback, then I look forward to hearing from you. Regina, you're on Eurybia. Oh, you're on there as well. Which cruise line are you going on for Panama Canal? So, I'm going to take my finger off the screen. Everybody hope for the best, but I'm fed up with the camera moving. So, cruise line for me for the Panama Canal. So I have chosen to try a totally new cruise line for the Panama Canal. I'm actually so excited for it. It's going to be really, really different to any cruise that I've done before. And the line that I have chosen is Cunard. So I am going to be spending, I think it's 19 nights on Queen Elizabeth to go from Los Angeles to Fort Lauderdale, I think. It's either Fort Lauderdale or Miami. But I am so excited to try Cunard for the first time. I'm also terrified about it because I've heard a lot of what I would call Cunard myths, but I'm trying to not listen to them too much because it's the same. They're very similar to the overall cruise myths I had heard about how there's never solo travellers, everyone's like totally not my age, and generally speaking, on the cruises that are longer than 7 nights, you do find the average age is a lot higher. So even the difference in Toscana and Diadema is massive. So when I was on that ship, literally just docked over there 2 weeks ago, the average age on there must have been in the probably the 60s actually, and that was for 14 nights. But the 7 nights on here, the average age is much, much younger, and there's a lot of people my age. I've actually met a lot of people in their early 30s who, yeah, that's been brilliant to meet people my own age on here. So yeah, I'll be on Queen Elizabeth for just under 3 weeks, going from West Coast to East Coast, and I am very, very excited for Panama Canal on her. I think that'll be beautiful. On that note, if anyone's been on Queen Elizabeth or if anyone's got any general Cunard points, please let me know. So, Ken, question, where will you be from the 1st of June for 10 days? Where will I be from the 1st of June? So, where are we? 1st of June actually. So I'm going to be back on here. So I'm going to be on land in Barcelona until the. Should I? I mean, yeah. Let's just go through the dates. So I'm going to be on land until I think it's the first Monday of June, and then I'm coming back on to Toscana to do 7 nights. So I think the 7 nights are the same ports as what I've done this week, and that's the one that my friend Laura that I did Alaska with last year is coming out to join me for. So our ports that week, if it's the same as this, should be Cagliari in Sardinia, Naples, Genoa, Civitavecchia and Marseille, and that'll be in and out of Barcelona. So that'll be that, and then after that I'll be in Barcelona for 2 nights I think before I fly to Israel to get Royal Caribbean. So there's a good bit of chunk of time there actually where I'll be in Barcelona. So Ken, I would love to meet you guys. So if you are by any chance in Barcelona over those days and you wouldn't mind chatting to me, then yeah, please let me know, because I guarantee you I can recommend you if nothing else, I can recommend you a decent ice cream in Barcelona. So yeah, if you happen to be in the city, then let's try and catch up, because that would be great to meet you, because you're one of those YouTubers that I've heard all about, but our paths have just never ever crossed. So yeah, let me know. DM me on Instagram actually. That's the best way to contact. McKenna, I saw your comment. Good, been too busy to respond, so appreciated. Good, I'm glad it was useful. Where are we at? Tina. There's actually quite a lot of chat on here. Yeah, so you'll need a dinner suit on Cunard. I've heard that you have to dress up for Cunard. Yeah, Gary does have good videos on it, so I've been looking at some of his videos, and to be honest, they've actually calmed my nerves a good bit just about it being quite a broad demographic on a Cunard ship. I feel as though it was the transatlantic videos I was watching on your channel, Gary, but yeah, I know that I'm going to have to dress up, which I don't know how I feel about that, because one thing that I've realised with cruising for a longer period of time is that one thing that mentally I'm beginning to struggle with a bit is dress codes, and Costa's quite good because the dress codes are very, very, very advisory, where like if you want to go elegant, you can do that, but if you want to go in the dining room way more casual on elegant night, you can. So for me that's quite good, because sometimes if I'm on these ships, I mean we're now on what, week 7 I think we're on now, which would be in some cruise lines books, that would be me having like 10 to 14 formal nights, and sometimes you get to the point where you just can't be bothered getting dressed. I mean, it's such a first world problem, but you just can't really be bothered getting dressed into formal wear again. So yeah, that's probably my number one concern with Cunard. The age thing really doesn't bother me, because honestly, some of my best friends are like 30 years older than me, so the age isn't bothering me much. It is the formality of it that I'm most nervous about. Travelled with a wandering teenager, never saw her, had no problem on QM2. That's good. Oh, my favourite ship, great solo things on Cunard. That's good. I should probably just add and just throw it out there that if you made that teenager comment thinking that that would probably suit me more because I am close to being a teenager, then I should say thank you. But unfortunately, I'm now about double the age of the majority of teenagers. So, do you know what? I probably should be entering the stage where I want the average age to be a lot higher. But yeah, I'm clinging on to my youth. But it's good to know that there's good solo things on there. That's actually really, really reassured me, because a lot of the time a solo cruise is made by who you meet on it, I always think. So yeah, that's what made last week on Symphony so good, because we had such a good group on there. Tina, she was great, just very busy, but we were on a booze cruise. Oh, sorry, you're talking to Tina. Right, okay. Yeah, the booze cruise, was that the Virtuosa booze cruise that you were on? Because that looked a lot of fun. And actually, I think that might have been the cruise. Oh, that was the Cruise Monkeys one that you rocked up by surprise, I think. Unless I've totally made that up. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Princess, Malta's a lovely port. Yeah, it looks beautiful. We're wondering about Hamburg. We planned to go on an excursion to Berlin, but it booked out, so tour in Hamburg. Do you know what? Don't worry about that. Hamburg is a fantastic cruise port. So where you dock there, you're usually a wee bit further out, but you can walk in. So it depends on how fit and able you are and if you're up for a walk. But for me to walk from where Virtuosa docked, which is the main terminal for the big ships, from memory it took probably about 45 minutes to get all the way into the city centre. And you also go through the tunnel, which takes you under the river into Hamburg. So do not worry that Berlin is booked out. If you've never been to Hamburg, it's a great little city. There's also, I'd love to know the name of it, but I'm just going to have to refer you back to my vlogs. So at New Year, I went to Hamburg, and if you search for Virtuosa on my channel, you'll find that New Year cruise. Now, I did a totally free of charge thing where basically you could go up in, I don't know if it was a library or a concert hall or something, but you had to get a ticket, but the tickets were free. So you could pay, you didn't have to pay. You could go and get a ticket, and that would basically let you go up to like a 360-degree observation deck, which the views up there were amazing. I guess if you're going soon, you won't have the same problem I did, but because I was there in fact, it was the 1st of January, it was New Year's Day that we docked in Hamburg, because there was loads of like fireworks wrappers everywhere and champagne bottles everywhere. So yeah, if you're going there, it'll be light most of the time, but for me, I mean, shamefully, by the time I actually got out of my bed, the sun was beginning to set again. So yeah, if I had my way again in Hamburg, I would make sure that I went there in the morning, and then if my ship was there late, try and go back up again before it gets, or as it's getting dark, because it's beautiful up there. Richard, I can see you're chatting away. This is good, but it's throwing me. Tina, sorry Fraser, we're all having comment chats. No, listen, be my guest. Ken, yeah, it was the Cruise Monkeys cruise. I thought so. We had a fantastic time. Yeah, there was quite a lot of you guys on there, and I agree. The buffet on Virtuosa was fantastic, and it's one thing. I've left my water all the way over here, and that's part of the chaos of arriving and trying to take shelter. Yeah, the food on MSC, I'm always really positive, yes, but I'm always really fair about it. Like, a lot of people say to me, oh, we've been on an MSC cruise and we've left hungry, and yeah, we've not been overly impressed with it, and I just haven't seen that at all. The buffet on Virtuosa, I think, is the best one I've seen. I said on my last live, so I won't go into it in too much detail, but the buffet on World Europa, I did feel like it was really samey, where you kind of felt as though you were seeing the same things coming up in the buffet over and over and over again. But even that's fine. You've still got 40 different options, just don't have them all at the one time. Which is rich coming from me, I know, but yeah, you just have to be a little bit strict with it really. Now, yeah, any other comments, please feel free to pop them in, and just, yeah, for the last couple of minutes, I did want to just kind of, I guess, walk you through my plan for what's happening next on my next ship, and then also take you a little walk around the decks, because one of the brilliant things, it looks like it stopped raining. I'm definitely not getting wet anymore, so I think it's going to be safe to go for a walk. Famous last words, yes. But yeah, so my next ship, now I will be docking in Barcelona on Sunday, which is tomorrow. Yes, which is tomorrow. And yeah, I'll then be spending one night in a hotel just off La Rambla, which is like that main shopping street that goes through the city. Now, Monday morning, I'll then be heading back over to the cruise port to board Costa Smeralda, which is the sister ship to Costa Toscana. So I'm really, really excited, because any crew that I've met on here that have done contracts on both say that Smeralda is a similar layout of ship, but from a vibe and from a feel point of view, she feels like a completely different ship. Apparently, it's much more chilled out and much quieter than on here. So yeah, watch this space on that one. Now, port-wise next week, we've got a couple of different ports, which I'm really, really excited about, because for the last 3 weeks now, I've been going to ports that I've actually been to before, largely. So Sardinia was new this week, but all the other ports I've seen before, which for this week has been great, because I haven't been vlogging this cruise because I'm coming back on here with my friends, so we'll vlog that one. But this week for me has been all about just trying to chill out, recharge, and just, I guess, have a little bit of Fraser time, if that makes sense, and just try and switch off from the world a wee bit. So yeah, that's been good to be in ports that I've been to before, because sometimes when you wake up and you're in a new port, you've got all this added pressure to get off and go and explore. And the lovely thing with this has been, like, yesterday's a really prime example where we were in Genoa, and I thought, right, I woke up at 9 in the morning and thought, do you know what, I'm comfy, I've been here before, I'm just going to go back to sleep. So I think I then woke back up at like 11:15 and I actually didn't feel bad for it, because I felt so refreshed off the back of it. So yeah, next week will be exciting because it's new ports again. So the new ones for me, we're going to Ibiza on Monday, I think. And then later in the week, we're also going to Sicily. So both of them are going to be totally new for me. So if you've been to either of them, please drop me a comment. If you're watching this live afterwards, or if you are on here live, then please drop me a comment and recommend anything that you think would be worth doing, because I'm going to be trying to vlog what does a spur of the moment visit to Ibiza look like if you throw your trainers on and go a walk from a cruise ship, because that seems to be my specialist subject rather than going on all these fancy excursions. Now, I did want to talk to you before I finish about the madness of last week, because as you know, I'll be disembarking this ship tomorrow. So last week I had a bit of it was a bit of drama, to be honest, getting off of Symphony, because I thought that I had an overnight in Barcelona last week. Obviously it's this week, but I thought it was last week. And what it meant was that I was on Symphony having breakfast, and luckily I'm an absolute ship geek, so I always like to go for a walk after breakfast, for the simple reason of looking at the other ships that are around us. And when I left the Windjammer, which was the buffet on deck 16, I think it is, on Symphony, I went to the back of the ship, which is where those flow riders and where the Abyss slide is. And I looked back and I thought, that's funny, Costa Toscana's docked here. And I just didn't realise that Costa Cruises offered overnight port calls in Barcelona. And it felt a bit odd, because being an Italian cruise line, I just didn't think they would offer overnights in Barcelona of all places. I thought they would do that maybe in like the more far-flung places, maybe in the Bahamas, but definitely not in Barcelona. So anyway, the more I thought about it, I then was walking back inside and I thought, right, I'm just going to check this. So I got my emails up, and lo and behold, I was booked on Toscana on the same day. So it's so funny. My vlog from that day started off as like a, look, let's disembark one of the largest cruise ships in the world. And it turned into a, let's disembark one of the largest cruise ships in the world and then get on another cruise ship when you're completely underprepared to do so. But what I would say, I was stressing about that, because I was just really nervous that I would need a bit of paperwork that I didn't have printed, because I literally had nothing printed. And the guys from Costa were amazing. So I got to the terminal, explained the situation, and someone with a Costa name badge, who I should have taken a note of the name so I could feed it back, but I forgot at the time because my head was just focusing on, oh my goodness, how do I get on that ship? And he just took me aside, got everything sorted, hand wrote all the luggage labels, took my ticket off my phone, sent it to a printer, did it all. And there's about to be a lot of kids passing, so there might be a bit of screaming in a sec, but they will pass. But yeah, took my phone, printed my ticket, and I was just so impressed, because not only did it get me on the ship, but it got me on the ship pretty quickly. So from the point of arriving at the terminal to getting on here, literally sitting by the bar with a coffee, it took me about 45 minutes, which I was totally blown away by. So considering I couldn't have been more underprepared, Costa did an amazing job with getting me onto this ship, and honestly, I am so thankful, because what you need when your head is a little bit fried like that, you just need someone to say to you, look, it's all right, I'll fix it and we'll get you on and you can start your holiday. That's what you need, and that is what happened, which was brilliant. So, a couple of comments. So I meant like a teenager, done a few solo ones now. Ventura, I've got a ship tour to Ventura actually. That's one of my favourite P&O ships. 3 cancelled in 2020, we all know how that feels. Finally going back aboard and already thinking of booking one again. Yeah, honest, you're going to have a ball. If this is your first one post-COVID, you are going to love it. Because cruising now is more or less back to what it was like pre-COVID. So yeah, it doesn't feel COVID-y at all, really. Just make sure you're sanitising all the time, and like masks and stuff are all gone now. So yeah, it feels much more like, not normal, but pre-COVID cruising is what we'll call it. Ken, Mount Etna. Of course, Mount Etna. I need to see if I can, do you know what? I might actually do an excursion on that one. McKenna, the overnights and super short cruises is one thing I'm not sure I'm comfortable with. As a full week traveller, they might be too party. Well, do you know what? Some of them are, some of them aren't. So I actually think the one that Ken was talking about, I think that might have been marketed as a bit of a not a booze cruise, but like as a bit of a 3-night party. I know there was a couple of groups on there that were definitely party groups, but I did 3 nights out of Sydney last year, and I was told, oh, that was going to be party. And do you know, it really wasn't. It was dead chilled. Everyone was just there to relax. Well, relax in the sun for a few days, but if you've seen my videos from that cruise, you'll know that anyone that was there for the sun, yeah, didn't get a bit of sun at all, especially not when we sailed out of Sydney, because the rain was bouncing off the decks. Like, I've never seen anything like it. I was talking about the rain today. That was just drizzle in comparison to what we had in Australia. But yeah, some of them are, some of them aren't, but I actually really enjoy the short cruises because it lets you squeeze in more cruises each year. So if I look at me at work, I get 5 weeks of annual leave. So for me to do 7-night cruises, I can only do 5 a year, which I appreciate. 5 a year is a lot, but the short cruises mean that you can actually squeeze in more in and around like bank holidays and things. So my Virgin one, I think I did that and only took 1 day of holiday actually, because the Monday was a bank holiday. I took the Tuesday off and went back to work on the Wednesday. So that was really good to tick off a new ship, a new experience, and actually some new ports without taking loads and loads of holiday from work. So yeah, again though, like it is what you make of it. Like if you do book a short one, I mean, I would say give it a go. Like, what's the worst that can happen? If anything, you leave it wanting more. So yeah, I'm a fan of a long cruise, a short cruise, any type of cruise. I am a fan. Now, what I think we'll do to finish this live is I'm going to take you up on this guy who has provided me with shelter. Honestly, I can't believe I've done this live basically from underneath a bridge, but yeah, there you go. It turns out the Med isn't sunny all the time. So if I can tilt you down where we're going to walk. So let me just give you your bearings and then we'll finish when we get up to the top of this bridge, because that's us pretty much on an hour. So yeah, you've got the other ships over behind us at the moment. So World Europa over here, and directly in front of her, you've got Costa Diadema. The exit to the port, as you know, is that way. So yeah, we're all facing that way, ready to head out. We're due to leave in about an hour from now, but don't worry, I'm not going to chat to you for an entire hour. Some of you will be thinking, right, come on, when is this guy going to finish? But yeah, don't worry, we're about to wrap up. Now, where we are, we're now on the Skywalk. And this is a feature of this ship that I really, really like. So I really enjoy walking about on the decks at night. And one thing that I struggle with sometimes is that means that you're doing like a really flat walk. So if you're trying to walk off your dinner, it's often quite difficult due to the fact that, so I live on the canal at home, and I always say running on the canal is dead easy because it's so flat. But you can see here, you've actually got a bit of a hill that takes you up. Now, what that ends at is basically probably what I think is the best viewpoint on the ship. A lot of people would probably disagree because you're looking at ship, which to me is definitely a highlight, but I know to a lot of people they'd probably rather see the port. But yeah, let me take you up and give you a bit of a feel for what is up here. So we are now walking up the hill. You can see here you've got the UV, well, I guess you probably would call it UV dome. So this dome goes over the indoor pool, and the really interesting thing with this is that it doesn't retract, but it's designed in a way that the UV still passes through. So they put loads of warnings out. There's like a warning on your TV on the Costa Toscana channel that basically says, look, if you're using our indoor pool, please be aware of the fact that UV can pass through, so just make sure that you're protected. So yeah, if you want to be in there and you don't want to be in the sun, then that's not an issue because there's loads and loads of like covered areas and areas that are sort of hidden a little bit that are totally out of any UV exposure. But I really like this, especially on a day like today when, to be honest, it's a wee bit bleak up here. You can still get in. If you're away for a week, you can get a bit of colour, you can get a bit of a tan and be protected from the elements, I guess. Now, if I take you up here, there's a few people up here, so... Okay, we're now doing the drills. So yeah, we're now at the very top of the skywalk. You've got the basketball court down below, which is usually very busy, so it's quite nice to see that quiet. You've then got the water park. So on here, the water park is similar to what I saw on, what ship was that last week? Symphony, where you've got the bowl slide. You've then got two slides, which are like racer slides, where one person can go on one person goes on the other, and you race each other down. And then down at the bottom there, you've got two kids slides. So if you are traveling with children, then that's perfect for them as well. Now you've then obviously got the yellow funnel. And if I continue to walk over here without falling by walking backwards, you can see all the way down the side of the ship. And then behind us there is, I was about to say Barcelona. If that's Barcelona behind us, then it's changed a lot in the last week. That is Marseille behind us. And if I flip the camera, you'll get a bit of a feel for what this skywalk looks like. So you can see here, we've just walked up the hill. You then go all the way around the basketball court, and then it takes you down. And that's where I will finish off today from. But yeah, look, wherever you have joined from today, I think people have kind of come from all over for this one. It's actually so good to see people actually joining from cruise ships. I think, Gary, that's probably the first that anyone's joined my live from a cruise ship. So hopefully the signal has held out, and hopefully you're going to get some calm seas to get you up to Norway, because I feel as though you did Norway on Disney, I think, and your content from that was remarkable. So hopefully you get some good weather up there over the next couple of days. But yeah, look, wherever you've joined me from, thank you so much for giving me such a huge chunk of your Saturday. We've ran for just over an hour now, and I am so thankful and so grateful for anyone who has, decided to give me a bit of time today. Really, really appreciate it. Now, next up for me, as you know, is Costa Smeralda, which I will be joining on Monday morning after I get off this ship in Barcelona tomorrow late morning. So yeah, wherever you are, have a wonderful, hopefully not as rainy as here, but a wonderful rest of your Saturday. And I will speak to all of you very, very soon. Brilliant. Cheers, guys. Bye.